that we're here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode, another Ziadless episode. And I'm getting tired of saying the word Ziadless. I'm getting heartbroken at this point. Wasim, how do you feel? Upset or more heartbroken?
I'm honestly heartbroken. Our clubs are like in the grounds these days. We're here putting in overtime shifts,
And
and our man is no showing for half of them. I think we need to make some sort of competition between us so we can give him minus points for these
oh
performances.
man, this guy would be relegated, by the way. Even if there's no relegation, he is getting relegated. Zed is going into
Eh,
administration at this point.
I didn't know Ziad had the Mbappe contract at PSG. It's crazy in here.
It's actually crazy. He really owns us, eh? He can do whatever he wants. Show, no show. Respect for the presence, Ziad, and for having us on a leash. But with that being said, and you know throwing Ziad under the bus once again. Let us review another. I can't even say exciting Premier League week. A pretty low-scoring Premier League week for the most part over the 2 days. There is one more game tomorrow, which is West Ham versus Leicester. Um, maybe it's gonna be a bone cooking session. Maybe it's not. Van Nistelrooy, by the way, is on like 9 game losing streak. They've only scored like 2 goals in their last 9 or 10 games. Brazy.
They're breaking the record for how many goals they have, like how many games they haven't scored yet. I think they're like haven't scored a goal at home in 6 games, which is a
Oh
record.
my god, imagine being a fan of that club and just showing up and just knowing you are most likely not going to score a goal. Wow.
It's okay. I'm gonna feel that soon with my club, so I'm here seated.
No, Wasim. This might be the worst bottom three teams I've ever seen in my lifetime. Now, I know that Derby season was special and last year Burnley was special, but I think in general, this might be like, as a, cumulative of teams, this might be the
It,
worst bottom three I've seen.
it might be consistent because honestly, I would say like last year's bottom three was the worst until this year. So it might be becoming a thing, honestly, with like the spendings of the other teams and like the discrepancy of like the three promoted teams.
Yeah.
We'll see. It might be like a consistent thing with next year being also
You're you're
horrendous.
not wrong because Sheffield actually everyone walked all over them last year. But really quickly, just want to see the championship and who's going to be coming up this year. I think Burnley and Sheffield probably, and some other team. Leeds,
Uh,
Sheffield are top two, so they're the automatic promotions. Then you have Burnley, Sunderland, West Brom, Blackburn in playoffs, and Coventry pushing for it. Yo,
with the amount of 0-0s Burnley do, I really don't want to see them.
I know what's going on by the way, but they actually haven't conceded a goal in like 11 games, I think. Respect. Damn, this turned into championship talk real quick, eh? But respect Burnley fans.
With the games that I've seen yesterday and today, we might as well talk
We
about other
might as
things.
well watch the championship. We're just watching a glorified championship in the Premier League, by the way. Better pitches, that's all. But without further ado, I just want to laugh at Aston Villa because I absolutely despise that team, and I'm very happy that they got slapped up by Crystal Palace. But it's embarrassing considering, we just lost to this exact Aston Villa team. Um, Rashford being thrown under the bus again for one of the goals, which I think it's kind of unfair. But the United fans have agendas. Omar Bacchus. And Ketia got his
The
first
thing is,
goal.
honestly, he's at fault, I think, but also Lucas Digne. I don't know what both of them were doing.
Yeah,
I think it was like a lack of effort from like a couple of players involved in that goal.
100%. No urgency from Rashford, but the overlap was on Digne, like bum behavior. But this is why Aston Villa are there. At least this week they lost. Bournemouth lost. Who else lost around us? Newcastle, and Chelsea kind of took advantage. Nottingham and Arsenal, you can see they both dropped points. So you guys are, keeping us relevant in the top four race. So I love that. Um, but yeah, so obviously there's not much to cover. You guys predicted a Chelsea slapping session. I predicted a Chelsea loss because of how not confident I was.
Fraudulent. You're fraudulent.
I won't even lie to you, team. I wish I was actually saying that just to like be like, haha. But no, I genuinely did not believe we were gonna win. But I remembered it took 20 minutes for me to understand how bad Southampton are and why they are where they are this season.
Uh, If Palmer was not Lee Gunner in disguise this game, it could have been like 8
Lee
nothing.
Gunner in disguise. But you know what? The thing with Palmer, I'm happy that now I understand it's Southampton. Everyone will say it's Southampton, but this is the first time in since last season and in this season where Palmer doesn't contribute to a goal, whether it's a goal or assist, and the team around him is carrying him. So that's something we need. It's a positive sign, and it gives confidence to the team. That makes me happy. Um, but I'm all for Palmer being sent out on holiday, man. This guy needs a break. He just looks tired. He looks very tired. And it makes sense. It's only his second professional season. This many minutes back to back from last season and this season. So yeah, that is Chelsea. Thank you, Chelsea, for making me smile again. In Kunku with a goal, Enzo Fernandez with a masterclass. Cole, by the way, throwing himself at the ball for one of his goals. I'm shocked, but I won't talk about it too much because I know it's gonna revert to the old Cole soon. But
I
was
think
yeah, go ahead, Wasim.
no, I was gonna say honestly, like this game will breed confidence. I know it's just Southampton, but if Chelsea was gonna mount any pressure, any race in this like top four race, it was gonna be the upcoming games.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you drop points these games, it would have been dead.
Yeah, it would be
Because
very scary.
because we can look at like like because I feel like the game didn't have that much in it. Because I felt like Chelsea just had a complete performance. Shut out Southampton.
Yeah.
And but like you have like Leicester next should be also a breeze, and then you have Arsenal, Spurs, Brentford, so and like a couple of like London derbies afterwards. So like these are the games where you breed confidence. You have Covenheim next after like a good little week break, and you just gotta get in shape.
Exactly. And the thing is, this is we took advantage of the losses around us and dropped points around us. And even next week, I think you guys play United. It's not gonna be a tough game. I expect Arsenal to win, but
It's a tough
it's not a
game.
tough game, Wasim. It's just gonna be a boring 1-0 for Arsenal. Like it's
One
gonna
nil
be
for Arsenal. I don't know where
Wasim.
the goal is gonna come from. That's gonna be. Look, we'll do predictions for that in the future week. But that's a 3-0 United
But Wasim,
thrashing too.
Wasim, you saw the first United goal today they conceded. You don't even gotta create. They will create for you. You just lump one ball up and be hopeful, and they will create the chance themselves for you. They take on the rest.
No, you're saying this because you didn't really watch the full 90 minutes. You might have just seen the highlights of the Arsenal game.
No, the Forest or sorry, the Ipswich goal. Like Dorgo literally passed it past Onana. So Asim, just one long hopeful ball from Saliba. Someone chases it, and you're good to go. You don't worry that game. But then honestly, even then, like Nottingham Forest play. Let's see, they have a tough game I think as well. Oh no, they have Ipswich next league game. Um, Newcastle have who do they play? Brighton, which is a decent game, mid-table game, for Brighton to take points off of them. And I think there's one other team around us that plays a tough game as well.
Man City, Nottingham Forest is the next game
Man
for
City
each other. So
Forest,
that's
that's
actually
the one.
yeah.
So again, and we have probably the easiest fixture of that game week as well. So again, that's another 3 points we can climb. We can gain on someone either under us or we can close the gap on someone above us. So Wasim, moving on to the mighty Arsenal. But you know what? First of all, gotta
Yeah.
shout out United. They haven't, we always shit on them. Shout out United for a big, big, big win. I think relegation talk can be put to bed now. Y'all are safe. You can start planning for next season. And I think United are almost at the safe 40-point mark, aren't they? Let's see.
They're
7 points
lucky
away.
genuinely that this is, as we said, one of the worst bottom three teams you'll ever see.
100%. 100%. But somehow United did manage to be in and around them and compete with Ipswich. So, low key United were relegation candidates, but Amorim, I don't know if he came to push them to the mid table or he came just to survive relegation, but it looks like it's the latter. But Wasim,
At least now he has more points than games.
exactly. What does he have now? Like 18 and
18
16?
and 16.
Let's go. Statsman Wasim. Wasim,
Positive.
how do you feel today in general? How was your day?
So I just want to say that somehow while working, Arsenal made work look more entertaining.
Classic
What I
Arsenal?
witnessed, the thing is, what I witnessed was what I expected. So it's not like I was like blown out of the way. I think like also Nottingham made a mess of the game because they didn't play their typical formation today, but it still felt so defensive. And they even asked Nuno about that. They're like, "Why did you play a back four instead of a back five?" He was like, "Oh, it's because they don't have a striker." But then the team itself was in such a defensive shape. Even he was like pissed on the side because he was telling his team to move forward, and
Damn.
like they were way too defensive for our team. That we had like 66% possession, maybe like 11 shots, but like there was no danger.
Were they threatening at
And
all
like
or no? Like Forest, any counterattacks? That's their game. Sit back and counter.
not not really. Like they had almost one good counter, but that was also offside. Like
Wow.
Saliba like made like a mess of potentially clearing it, and it went to Wood. But then Saliba recovered and just fully tackled him and got the ball out for a set piece. But like turns out it was an offside. So what they didn't counter at all like pretty well. Hudson-Odoi actually had the better of Calafiori though for the first half, but also Calafiori cancels that out because he was actually, I think, one of the better threats
Yeah,
offensively.
yeah.
But overall, this team defensively we were fine. Midfield also low key we were fine. I prefer Jorginho over Partey every day of the week.
I don't understand why Jorginho doesn't play more often. I personally didn't watch this game, but I know Jorginho. I've watched him for so many years.
It's just we were just in so much more control of the game, and like there's even less space. Jorginho just knows how to position himself.
Mhm.
Partey just leaves acre space, but offensively, it's where the issue is. There's just no creation. We just kept hoofing the ball up. At one point, you would see like Calafiori in false nine. You would see like Tierney when he came on at half, he was false nine sometimes. Like the team is pretty much just playing without a striker. It's like we're playing a formation of 4-6-0. There's just nothing happening.
Man, I think it's
Uh,
time.
uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
and like the only chance we had, at the end, the only good chance, and it came from like a shot out of nothing, was Calafiori's shot to hit the post.
Yo,
That was it.
I was actually watching the game at that
Uh,
point. That was insane.
The only other scuff chance we had was when Yeri had a good turn in the box, but he didn't shoot it right away, and he just pretty much kind of like dribbled it like at a corner where he should have just released it and just hoped to like score. And the other one was Odegaard's, but it was offside, so I'm not gonna like cuss out. Of course, people start cussing out Odegaard. How can you finish that? But at the end of the day, it's offside. There's no reason to like stress on someone. Oh, how did you not finish that? There was it would have not improved his confidence, reduced his confidence. It was offside.
I think the fan base is just complaining at anything this point because they're starving for goals, Wasim. They just want to see the ball hit the
Yo,
net.
but the issue, honestly, the players are left out to dry. There's just nothing happening, and like I don't think Arteta. There isn't any like we saw what happened to Pep when Rodri got out. We saw what Maresca's running into with like no strikers, like or Postecoglou. He went all the way to like 14th with all the injuries he had. The injuries had an impact, and like there's not many options to change off the bench. Like the first two subs Arteta made were Tierney and Zinchenko to bring on.
Yo,
And he
when I
then
saw
brings
Tierney
on
come
Sterling.
on, when I checked the game and I saw Tierney come on, I had to question what year I was in. I thought it was back in COVID.
The funny thing is, I didn't mind the sub because what he said, he was like, it wasn't tactical or anything. It was Calafiori got a yellow card 2 minutes in. He did not want to make him play a second half with like on a yellow against Southampton. He just took him out, which honestly I'm fine with that. He brought on Sterling 10 minutes in. By the way, we'll get to Partey because Partey had to come on, and my God, that cameo with him and Sterling. Sterling comes on for that cameo. Every time he comes on, and it's not gonna be I'm gonna try not to do a Sterling rant, but my God, in those like 10 minutes, my man had a run. Instead of like taking on a player or like running more closer to the net, he saw two people like coming close to him. He anticipated the foul from behind, pretty much dove, and then they took the ball and we lost it.
That's
Every
typical
time
Sterling.
we passed him the ball, if like Ben White tried to give him the ball or a center back tried to give him the ball, it's like he's not expecting the pass, and we just lose the ball. There was one time, 91st minute, 90th minute, Declan Rice is busting a lung, taking the ball, trying to get any sort of counter attack going, sprints all the way, and eventually dribbles it out to like a throw in because he's looking for like someone to move to run, and Sterling is just standing there watching him, and Rice was yelling. He's like, "What's going on? Where are you?"
Yeah,
So that cameo by Sterling was diabolical, and of course, Partey comes on, and Nottingham Forest start getting chances after chances, like they start like trying to threaten on the counter because Partey's just hilarious.
so all in all, the subs had no impact, is what you're saying, Wasim.
No subs, but yeah, it's like I think it's
Negative
going to
impact.
expect it. It's going to be a top four race. By the way, I'm not even confident about that because genuinely, if we still had Havertz at least, I would have been like, listen, we still have a striker or something. People now are going to be like, oh, I'm not Havertz's biggest defender. Oh, I hated Havertz, but now we don't have a striker. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's hilarious, and I don't think honestly Moreno should be starting the games. I think he could come on as a solution. I think he could maybe attempt Trossard, but by the way, Trossard, my God, he's been having such a shit season. And would you think the only front one of the front three that's playing in his position would have a decent game? Since everyone's injuries, Trossard has been horrendous.
Because he has no competition now. He knows he's an automatic starter. At least before he had to kind of grind and push in moments
Uh,
to play, but now he's an
he
automatic.
he is not existing. Somehow Calafiore in the 45 minutes did more than Trossard in a full 90. I don't know what Trossard did in this entire game. But this game has been so bad. And listen, top four, I won't put it past us not to get out of it. Listen, this is the first time Arsenal in 2 years haven't scored a goal in back-to-back games.
Oh shit! Okay.
And when you think, and Nottingham Forest away, you know what? I can understand potentially not scoring their fully defensive block, but West Ham at home, that should be like a 3-0 result by a competent team.
Yeah.
So, and next game is United away. Before that, we have PSV. I don't even know how we're gonna get past PSV, to be honest.
Wassim, really, even to that extent.
If we don't keep a clean sheet, I don't see us tying games or winning games. The last two games has been horrendously offensive. We had like 33 chances, maybe 3 on target. That's how bad it is. Like, if you watch the game, we were just hoofing crosses in and hoping for the best. There's like zero creativity. There's just and no link up. Like, Rice and Odegaard are trying, but like offensively, there's just nothing there. And like, I can't cuss at a DM that's playing freaking striker. Like, I was cussing at like Moreno playing in his own position, let alone playing in striker.
Listen, what puts it against? Like, is it? Do you think impossible for Arteta to show us something? I'm not saying
I
that's crazy.
personally like. I want Arteta to change something, but like won't even change results. I would want him to like say screw Sterling. I'm not even gonna put him for the 10 minutes. I'll put the reserve striker. But that's not gonna guarantee a win. That's just you. You know what? You know Sterling is not gonna offer you anything past this year. Let me play the youth player. He will either get experience or I would maybe improve his value to sell him. There is just Sterling is contributing nothing to this team.
Sterling
Like genuinely negative.
again. That signing never made sense to us.
But the funny thing is, for a team that's thinking financially, and they're like, you know what, we're not gonna sign anyone now. We're gonna sign someone later, and they're like, we're gonna think about like, oh, how much money we're making and making more business.
Yeah.
The difference between finishing second to fourth is a lot. So even if you invested, you would have made that money just by like being in position second rather than fourth, or potentially even lower. So that's even a shittier financial move by the club, because I can see us not finishing second anymore.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was thinking about this earlier today. Arteta, like, I know Wasim, you're saying he doesn't have much else to do because of the striker injury, the situation, which 100% I agree with. But to be honest with you, like, I saw Maresca change it, and he's been proactive about it. Whereas Arteta is, to be honest, to me, is just keeping exact same shape and exact same, trying to play the exact same play style. The only thing he's changed is maybe putting Moreno in striker, and to an extent, it's still like almost having Havertz because he's still keeping the size up front. So I was looking at some stats today. Okay, Arsenal are the best crosses in the league. You guys have probably the best headers in the Premier League. You have Moreno, you have Saliba, you have Gabriel, you have Calafiore, you have physicality there. You guys are definitely physical. You guys are the best offensive team on set pieces. I'm pretty sure Arsenal and Chelsea are tied for that. And you guys are obviously strong defensively. This might sound insane, but why on earth do I not see a back three for Arsenal and going with two big strikers? I know you don't have strikers, but for the love of God, put Moreno and put one center back up there with him. This is the time, in my opinion, to do something crazy like that. Even towards the end of a game, like against Forest, it's 0-0. Why not go to a back three and put Moreno and push Gabriel to play center forward with him for the last 10 minutes? This is something we used to see back in the day. Like, I remember if Chelsea were losing a game or drawing a game that we needed to win, John Terry would play the last 10 minutes up front, and you just slot a defensive midfielder back and center back. So I don't see why not go route one, direct football, and actually cause chaos in our box when you are the most physical team and again best crossing and best header of the game. So I don't think Arteta's exhausting his options. Like, he does have options that he's not using still, in my opinion.
We're good at crossing, but like, for example, today we had 11 corners. Nottingham Forest are just also good like defensively. Like I think maybe 2 corners like they like Moreno got like a header on, Tierney got a header on one of them, but like there's still nothing. I can agree with you if like on that position if we had more fit players. But like we're already having so many players out of position. If we change shape, the issues with changing shape is you're gonna have even more players in wrong positions.
Um,
And like right now, like for example, if we do let's say change shape, I wouldn't want like we can't have Rice in center back, which is technically Loki out of the midfielders. We only have like three, which is Party, Jorginho, and like Rice, and I
mhm.
think only one of them can play center back, which is Rice, and the other two are just too slow to be there. We'll get cooked on the counter. I agree with you for like trying something different, but man, this season has been such disgusting with injuries, and we're not gonna. What Arteta's pretty much saying is like Martinelli and Saka are pretty much not going to be available until after the international break, which is low key. Um,
Yeah.
that's the PSV games, the Chelsea game, and the United game.
They're gonna miss all those.
Yeah, and that's like ideally because like he potentially might not even start them because like one is coming from a both are coming from a hamstring if I'm not mistaken. So like he might not even risk either. I think this season has been such a dud that I'm just waiting for the summer. And the funny thing is, I want to clear out some players, but we need a season of just buying players. You might not even have to sell some players. This team
Yeah,
is just so like little that you can't just even sell that many players. Like you might sell Zinchenko, Tierney's, and yeah, you can't even sell players because you already have three players potentially leaving on a free, which is Jorginho, Partey, and Tierney. That's three players alone from like the non-existent bench that are gonna be gone. On top of that, if let's say you sell Zinchenko or Kivior, yeah, we need like eight players if we're gonna get rid of that many players.
and by the way, like on topic of transfers, how Nketiah would have worked for you guys today? He scored for Palace, eh? And I know Nketiah was never the guy to score consistent goals or anything, but I think Nketiah was one consistent thing in him we saw when he got a run of games. He was actually pretty efficient. Like he was probably like a 1 in 3 type striker. You know, you play him for a short term, 10 games, like a
Man,
burst of 10 games, and he would actually score for you guys.
for Nketiah though, honestly, I'm just thinking at it from an individual. I'm just happy that he left the club for him, to be honest, because this man has been scapegoated. He comes on, he will get cussed at. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't command. They will tell why is our option Nketiah off the bench.
Yeah.
He has number 14.
Oh
Oh,
my
what
god.
a disgrace! Oh my God, he has 100K as if it's their own money. You know
Yeah.
what? Just have your fun. This fan base is just so toxic. I think my players are just being thrown under the bus. Arteta just being abused. By the way, I don't think any other manager with what we have right now would have won this game, for example. And that's not me just being like a defensive like on Arteta or anything. The amount of injuries with the squad that's currently available, you're not. He's technically maximizing whatever he has out of the team. The team right now is defensively solid, which is why we got a point. But it's just the front three is just non-existent, and you can't do more than that.
I know, but still, I'm still here in the camp of saying I want to see Arteta play a back five, mainly by the way, because I think Gabriel and Saliba are being either way too cautious or scared on the ball, like they're not. Caliafori at left back, you see him really like he actually carries the ball. He gives through balls. Like if he plays in the middle, he'll probably be able to like like start attacks from the back. Something Gabriel and Saliba are not doing. It's something like they refuse to do.
Man, Calafiori for a centre back, I don't know how why he feels like a better left winger than a defensive player. He's so like I don't know. He's either so rash or just too cautious that he just lets the winger do whatever he wants on the
But
wing.
that's the thing with him.
The,
Like he's built to defend from the middle. It's like Vardiol is exactly like Colwell last year. Like if you're a center back and you're defending wide, like it's much harder. Like you're not as quick, and like you're not as sharp and agile as a left back. Like if you compare someone like a Correa, for example, or like even Timber or Ben White, on the side they're so much more comfortable than actually playing a center back on the side and having him defend a quick winger. It's so tough. That's why I want to see him in the middle.
I, I would just put him left wing, to be honest. I have so
At
enough
this
with
point,
Trossard on top of
Loki, yeah.
the with the players that we have. Like I would try Trossard back in the middle and put Calafiori on the left just to try something new personally, other than Moreno. Because honestly, Moreno needs to like come off as an impact sub, which is hilarious to me to be even saying Moreno as an impact sub. But I just don't think it's working for Moreno to be starting for the minute one. Like Nottingham, the centre backs probably had the easiest game of their lives too. To be honest,
Yeah,
like
they
the
have
game
no one
was a
to mark.
nothing game. Like neither things happen. I just think if Nottingham Forest were a bit more brave, they could have gotten the game at maybe all 3 points, because looked like they came for a draw and they got it, but like they could have had us because we had 66% possession, crossing aimlessly, corners galore, but like we didn't threaten them whatsoever.
Unfortunately. And last thing I want to say is, I think Wasim, the best thing as shitty as injuries are, I think the best thing to actually happen to you guys and to Arteta is for these injuries to happen, because now there is no option for the board but to look and be like, wow, it's, if it's pretty obvious we went from scoring goals and winning games to not scoring goals and not winning games, and it's mainly down to not having a striker. Of course, Saka's a big miss, but I do think if he still had a striker, like a proper number 9, he would have been scoring goals at least more than what you're scoring now. So this is maybe something that might push them in the summer to start spending.
The funny thing is, guess who has the best who has the best defense in the league right now?
Like least goals conceded? Is it you guys?
Yeah, least goal. Yeah, we conceded 23 goals. Best defense in the league. Liverpool conceded 26. We still, and even then, like we conceded some bummy goals and stuff like that, and we still just conceded 23 goals. But for example, Liverpool scored 66 goals. We only scored 51.
Wow.
And if you see our contribution, especially since Saka got injured, it was still like Havertz maybe still maintained it when Havertz and Martinelli were still like available, but since Saka got injured, the goal scoring just like got like obliterated on our team. Because like eventually, before like moments of brilliance from Saka saved maybe Havertz missed clear-cut chances, Saka would have finished the chance and then we would have won. People would have skated by. I think Odegaard missed so many chances, but like Saka would score like from a big moment. We scrape by. But since Saka's injury, and this happens, but this is what happens when you rely on one player offensively.
Yeah, it's a whole.
Like as good as the team was last year with like everyone contributing, you could tell who was the superstar out of the front four. And you chose not to get a sub for him. Your left side completely vanished. And you count on I don't know why you keep counting on Jesus when he proven to you in 4 years that he can't stay fit.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm telling you, this is literally a blessing in disguise. This injury crisis right now is a blessing for you guys for the summer.
But I don't even know. My board can never fails to amaze me. So like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Realistically, we need more than 3 players. Like even if we get Benjamin Sesko, we get Nico Williams, we get like Zubamendi, we still need like a keeper. Because who's the Neto's on loan, so we either have to promote a keeper and just let him sit on the bench or buy a keeper. If we get so many rid of, and we might have to look into more options in midfield, because even if we get Zubamendi, if Partey and Jorginho both leaves, who's fit? Just Rice and Zubamendi. That will be the only 2.
Do you see
so
a
like
world where your board doesn't spend money? They put like all the injuries this year just down to bad luck.
I could see it.
They start the new season with no signings.
Listen, I think Arteta would walk at that point, which would be hilarious.
The issue with Arteta Wassim is I don't think so. He seems like I'm gonna die on this hill type of manager. Now that's his issue.
He can die on this hill, but you can die on your hill with the same players that you have. But he's technically dying. Like he is this year is technically him dying. Him with whatever happened in January, that's him dying on the hill. Because the only thing I'll blame Arteta is I feel like what he sees, and that's me just assuming, is that he knows the board won't get his plan A's in January, and if they give him like a subpar option now. In January, they would have probably not given him what he wanted in the summer. So he was like, screw this. This most likely is hopeless. And I will just wait for the actual proper signings in the summer. Which is diluted from the board's perspective, less on Arteta, in my opinion. But I think Arsenal only has Champions League to play for. Try to beat PSV. We're going to get eliminated by Madrid, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, is Madrid actually the next step?
It would be either Madrid's, it would be either Atletico or Real Madrid based on who wins that draw.
That would be a massacre, Wasim.
It would be a massacre, but try to get past PSV, get to the quarters, make sure you get top four at all costs, and just get to next season. But the season is like done.
Yeah, unfortunately, on Liverpool. Yo, I was watching the Liverpool game today, and should have seen as soon as the Forest game ended, because your guys started earlier, I think, by like 45 minutes or half an hour. As soon as
30
this
minutes, yeah.
Arsenal game ended, these guys started chanting, "We're gonna win the league." Right away, like it's over. I think they know it's over. The media know it's over. Like, obviously, they're gonna keep saying we're not gonna get complacent, but unfortunately, it's over. But yeah,
Listen, I'm not surprised Isak somehow magically got injured for this game. But on to that game, by the way. Newcastle somehow showed up as Brazil 2002 against us in both Carabao Cup games, and just no-showed the City and the Liverpool game.
you guys are their cup final, by the way. You guys are a lot of people's cup final, Wassim.
Where too? By the way, have you seen how many teams do the be humble? It's brazy, by the way. Even like a West Ham player started doing like the get humble. We're humongous.
Oh my God, who did it? Like they tweeted something or what?
Yeah, I don't know which player. I think Bowen is the one that
No,
quoted something and I'm
Bowen.
like, what's going on? I'm like, yo, there's beef. I don't know why we're like. I can understand. The thing is, I don't see my players as coming, but I'm like, damn, we're hated.
Hated. But yeah. With that being said, I will still die. Now I have a hill to die on. I want to see Arsenal with a back three. Wassim. Wassim.
The funny thing is, we only have defenders fit. So like
But Wassim,
the only positions he have is
Wassim,
defenders. So he
Wassim, I
could
just
put a
want you to
back
close
five.
your eyes and daydream, okay? Back three. Saliba, Gabriel. Oh, sorry. Saliba, Caliafori, and Timber. Back three. Is that not solid back three? Right wing back, Ben White. Left wing back, controversial, but Kieran Tierney. He's and you know what? If you can get him used to like running up and down again, and you get the peak Tierney, and you get 6 out of 7, 6 or 7 out of 10 every week, then you're happy. That's a back five. Midfield of Partey and Rice or Partey and Jorginho, and then the issue is, honestly, I would take Odegaard out of the team for a little bit, given Waneri a run behind the strikers. My strikers would be Moreno and Trossard. Or if you want to banter, Moreno and Gabriel, just for presence. But do something like that.
Yeah.
Please.
Yo,
Go for it.
that's a lineup Stoke would be proud of.
Oh, 100%. But like I think Arsenal need like to embrace what they have. Like you need to play to your strength. Like there's you know what? I think Arsenal can actually win games by doing something like that. Go like to play to your strengths. Your strengths when you had Saka and Odegaard firing and Trossard and Martinelli contributing and Havertz contributing was sure playing on the floor, getting to the wings, putting the ball in the box. But now you don't need the ball on the floor. Your players are not the most technical players in terms of like your midfield and your front line. So play to their strengths, man. Take the small players out, put some size in there, beat some teams up, and just go direct. Why not? Arteta, I'm looking at you by the way.
Yo, listen, for me, when does the transfer window open? June 1st.
June,
I want
30th?
I want all the signings right there on the door June 1st. I want to see the press conferences.
It is
That's
not
it
like
right
Arsenal
away.
to make early deals, unfortunately, Wasim. But they'll have
Dog.
to. If you guys are serious about next year, you know what, Wasim? You will know Arsenal's intention for the 25-26 season from the transfer window. How early you guys go in, how aggressive you guys go, and how much you spend. You will understand what the board really want. Because at this point, if you guys are not spending over 200 million plus, then Arsenal are not serious.
Oh, this window has to be 300 million plus.
Yeah, I don't know. But
For it to be even competent. Because my thing, for example, like people can say, oh, Liverpool and Arsenal had like a 15-point swing, but like when you look at like just statistics, like that, there has to be like context to it. Like compared to both teams had like different luck and injuries in like those two, like last season compared to this year, and no one expected for like Salah to like become a demon. Or,
Legit.
like his stats were already good, but this is like
No, this is-
well above and
yeah.
beyond.
And the issue is with
So-
Salah, man. Like, yeah, he just woke up. Unfortunately for Arsenal, like, I don't want to say you guys were never in the race, but it's like the one. You know what? Arsenal always have something going I'm not gonna say going against them, but they always have some like insane factor going on. Like this year, it was Salah just becoming a demon. The previous years, it's like, oh, like he got crazy bad refereeing decisions against you, and I'm with this. Like I've seen this happen. I don't feel like Arsenal
Like
ever
the
had a
thing
normal
is,
season.
like the thing is for me, like the word bottling is like hilarious to me. Like the first season, like when we challenged like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
no one barely anyone even said Arsenal will be in top four.
No. Yeah.
It was the first year. It was like Arsenal just finished eighth, and it was like, oh, just make the Champions League.
Yeah.
They somehow managed to be up like at the top, but no one realistic thought Arsenal were gonna win the league that year. And City ended up winning it by like a bit of a landslide at the end.
At the end,
But
though,
like,
yeah.
it wasn't like a serious challenge. People wanted to make it a race just to be like, oh, you know what, this league is competitive.
Yeah.
Man City's not gonna walk away with it. But realistically, City was gonna win that. Last year, City was just the better team. Arsenal, to an extent, faced City, the City team that Liverpool had been facing for the years before that.
Yeah.
City were just too good. Arsenal, for example, only dropped points like in 2 games since December the year before. But because they had a bit of a stint, like a bad stint in December, they couldn't go more perfect than what they were, to be honest. I don't think many teams will like, since from January, will like not drop points in like 2 games.
Yeah. That's
So
that's
last season I wouldn't even make an excuse. City was just a better team because I don't think there was many bad
That's fair.
decisions last year. It was just like it was fair. The City just had to win it. This year, congrats Liverpool, but I just don't think with all the injuries, Arsenal was just never really in it. They had bad stretches at the beginning of the year, but I think because teams now are just not as consistent. Like
Yeah.
Liverpool were consistent, but they drew a lot. That's why
Yeah.
they still are like like before like this week they were a bit closer.
Yeah.
Just because like they drew a lot. They didn't lose, but they just drew a lot. And but just Arsenal, in my opinion, I told you like since Saka got injured, even though that was like 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, I'm like that's the time where I'm like Arsenal are officially out of it.
You know
You
what
cannot
sucks?
replace Saka, who has like 15 goals with like potentially like almost because he was close to Salah with assists. Like they were tight until
they were
like
going toe to toe.
at least with assists, yeah. Like obviously with goals, like Saka were not close to Salah, but like with assists, he was there with Salah. So
Saka
like
was scoring a
once you
decent
take that
amount,
out of
though.
the team, yeah, no, he was still scoring, but like I just don't think his actual goal numbers were close to Salah, but his
Yeah.
assist numbers were close.
Yeah, they were going toe
Once
to
you
toe.
take that, once you take out that out of our team, especially when the only one else contributing other than Saka was Havertz, because like again, Trossard and Martinelli are having a horrendous season. Odegaard, since coming back from the injury, has been like awful, unfortunately. Like there was just nothing. That was the day like Arsenal's title race really like closed.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I know we always blame injuries, but like, I don't even know if it's a valid excuse anymore. I'm talking about Chelsea too, because and Arsenal, and even Man City. Man City's board is with them, but like with Arsenal, it just seems like the board is so disjointed from the team and from the coach, because, like when we blame injuries, we at this point we should be blaming the board. In the case of Arsenal, because you guys don't have near enough players, so the board needs to start pulling in the same direction as Arteta and the club, because the grind doesn't match the grind I see on the pitch and from Arteta through his press conferences and like the way Arsenal play does not match what the board are doing. Like the ambition is it's not there for Arsenal's board, regardless of what they want to say and how much you spent over the past couple of years. Ambition isn't there. Ambition could have been shown and proven through the January transfer window. And I think we saw a lot of teams in the January transfer window, whatever teams did business, even City to a certain extent. Obviously, the results aren't the best, but they are winning more consistently now. And it's
Even
thanks to the
the
January transfer
last
window.
the last time I really thought the board did something, and even then people complain about it because like they weren't a fan of Havertz, was the time where they got both Rice and Havertz in the same window. Now we can argue about Havertz's profile, but in my opinion, obviously like Havertz hasn't won anything with like Arsenal compared to Chelsea, but like his numbers did like improve under Arsenal. That could also be because obviously he's getting older. He's like I think he came to a fan base that's still abusing him, but like I think it was like better than what he was with at Chelsea, the Chelsea fan base at that time.
Yeah.
So at least like there was like a bit more, like he's more of a confidence player. But like still his numbers did improve. I think that was the last serious window we had. Since then, we had a January window last year that we didn't do anything in. Then fast forward to this hilarious summer where we bought like um, two squad players and then two loan players, and then nothing in the summer when the team was like breaking
And
down.
you gotta remember, I'm pretty sure you guys just renewed Trossard's contract like the year before or something, right? Like you gave him like a 1 year
Uh,
deal.
yes, I don't know. I think no, I don't think it's renewed yet, or maybe it was renewed for a year because they're in talks of potentially renewing him now. So I'm
See,
not
this is pretty
sure of
sad.
like.
Like you, you obviously know that's not Arteta's type of player. Not type of player, but he's not the one he wanted long term. Trossard was just a short term fix on not signing Mudryk. So Arteta basically was went from wanting to sign a youngster to being given a guy that's pretty much past his prime, and then now he's like 3 years into Arsenal's project, and he's a starter when he was only like a stopgap buy in a January transfer window. So Arteta has, you know, excuses to a
eh,
certain extent.
Listen, I'm just gonna have a lot of therapy sessions in the next few weeks until the season ends, and just pray we don't miss out on top four because that's when I'll go ballistic.
I think it's impossible to see for Arsenal to miss on top four, and it's not even because of like you guys will be winning or not winning. It's not that's not my point. It's because the teams under you, including Forest City, Chelsea, Newcastle,
Listen,
are not
you guys are
serious.
not that far away. It is 7 point gap. A 7 point gap with 11 games left. It's not as like as far as you think of it. Let's say in the one game we face each other, Chelsea wins. We
But we're
still got
away,
to go
Wasim.
to
You gotta remember, we're
Anfield.
away.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. We
No, no,
your team can
Wasim,
still score goals. This
believe
team
me,
is
your
hopeless.
struggles are our struggles. We're missing defenders, and we are missing strikers. Believe me, like we are as much of a team as you're saying. It's not as far away as it looks. I'm telling you from a Chelsea perspective, it is not as close as it looks. I promise you this. Because just look, the proof is in the pudding. We have seen the games. We have dropped. We have won 2 games and drawn 5 in our past 10. Right? So like you gotta look at it like that too. I know on the table doesn't look too far, but also for me it does not look too close from my perspective.
Listen, you know Arsenal haven't scored a goal in 3 out of the last 4 games.
Oh wow.
That's Do I have to do the math?
360 minutes?
No, that's three. So it has to be four.
Oh, you're three.
Wait.
Yeah, 270 minutes.
Yeah, no, but like it's crazy to me how like yeah, in 3 games, in 4 games, we only scored in one of those games, and that was Leicester City. So it's not like
A given. Yeah.
so it's gonna be honestly if you just like replay the segment for the next like 3 months, we don't have to even talk about Arsenal. We can just like replay these stretches. The same players will be at fault up front. The defense will be fine,
Wasim, it's always
and I
fun
blame
talking
the
about
board.
Arsenal. It's your venting.
No,
It's your venting
and I
opportunity.
make fun of United, and now we're gonna have to sit through United somehow beating us next week. Oh Lord,
So let me just see something. When is the next round of games? What is the date for that? Oh wow,
March
March
8th,
8th.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's a gap. There's a gap this week. Unfortunately, for teams like us, where we're knocked out of the FA Cup, this is what happens.
Liverpool knocked you out, right?
Yeah, only United are in it seriously, but now we have
Oh.
to pray that United doesn't win it.
Oh my god. Wait, imagine United win a double, FA Cup and Europa League.
It would be some nasty
It will be
business.
some nasty, nasty business, and teams will have to be questioned, by the way. But with all that being said, oh, by the way, we're gonna do our top 20 list on Friday night, Wasim. Top
Ziad's gonna
20
make me do
footballers of
my
all time.
research. I'll put all time in big quotations because you're not gonna see anyone before the year 2000.
I won't lie to you. Yeah, like you'll see. Listen,
Li-
I get.
Listen, the moment I see clips with less quality than 144p, yeah, it's done.
Yeah, yeah. Don't give me pixelated shit. But listen, I get you gotta include some names like Maradona, like I don't know. I'm gonna put Pele in quotations because I don't even know if it's on my list. But you gotta include some names, just for the culture. But for the most part, my list is gonna consist of players I saw in my lifetime. It's not gonna consist of like Van Basten and Cruyff. I'm sorry, I didn't watch you
No,
guys play. You're not an all timer for
that
me. All timer is
the,
someone that's
the,
generational that's talked about in a generational way.
I might have to make a segment for Ziad where I compare like the years before players with current players. Like you
Oh,
just mentioned to me, Cruyff. That's Anthony.
that's Anthony at best. Maybe even Waneri playing as a like just behind the striker. You know, and Waneri at 17, by the way, before he even reached half his potential. But
Who's the football general? That's Lee Caramel or Jordan Henderson at best.
Di Stefano, I don't know. People will tell us we're disrespecting them, Wasim, but listen, man, they would not
We're
survive
gonna
in
be
today's game.
we'll be disrespected on Friday.
They will be disrespectful. That's what it will be. But you know what? I can't wait for that list because Ziad's shocked at where I'm gonna place Salah. I didn't tell him where I'm gonna place him, but I think I told him he's in my. Initially, he was in my top 20, but after further analysis, I think I put him in my top 10. And Ziad said he's gonna question everything about me and my existence. So I told him he's already controversial because we know his little bro is number one, little man, Leo.
Nothing will surpass my list. I'm here for it.
I'm excited for this. Thank God it's not gonna happen in person because if Ziad was next to me, I would probably have to throw some chairs at him. But it's not gonna
Oh,
be. It's not gonna be a WWE arena.
I already can tell you that I'm gonna guarantee you that out of those 20, 14 of them would have played for Barcelona, and then we'll be called biased.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. By the way, because apparently Barcelona just produced the greatest of all time, not just one in Messi, but no, a bunch. But with all that being said, we have 1 day break. It seems you have a full 24, maybe possibly even 36 hours to minus the sleeping time to think of your top 20. We'll say top 20. I think initially we said top 30, but top 30 is a lot. Top 20, something that you are confident in, Wasim, something that you want to put online for people to judge.
Out of the 36 hours, it's gonna be 24 hours still just cleansing myself from what I watched for 90 minutes today.
Recovering from Wasim, just go back and watch some old highlights. I do that with Chelsea. The other day I was watching when we won the league in 04-05 under Mourinho Lampard against Bolton. Oh, what a time. I celebrated like I was watching it live.
Damn, I have to go all the way back to 2003, 2004.
Invincibles?
Oh, you know what? I enjoyed those mini Wenger FA Cup fronts.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me go watch some Bob
Wasim,
Wenger.
just go watch the Rosicky, Wilshere, Giroud link up goal against Norwich.
Or I will just go watch the Chelsea beating Arsenal 6-0 and just remember there was worse times.
There were worse. You know what, Wasim? That's actually another way to look at it. There were worse times. It's actually a smart way to look at it. Or just go watch Luca play some basketball, because you said that makes you happy too.
Yeah. Yo, give me my club, wallah. I can't wait to watch the Lakers again.
A real team, by the way. Anyways,
Another and you know what? Today we won't discuss the Barca game with Atletico just out of punishment because anyways we already know we rather watch that Chelsea Southampton than watch that game.
100%. But Ziad's team is getting no mention here just because if you don't want to show up, we don't show up for you. That's how it works, King. Sorry. But with all that
We're
being
protesting by not talking La Liga.
said, exactly. And with all that being said, thank you for tuning in to yet another show dominated by Wasim and Mo without Ziad. Ziad's starting to bail on us and he's starting to bail on you. So let us know down below in the comments if you want Ziad out or Ziad in. See you next time.
Peace.